So I wanted to record this video just very, very quickly because I've found a way to find emails just using a domain, their name and last name. Now, there's products that already exist that do this whole functionality. And in essence, the way they work is like this, right? So they'll take the domain, they'll take the name and last name, and they'll run that against different email formats. So a format is something like david@domain.com, David Walker-Dobson@domain.com, David.Walker-Dobson@domain.com, and so on, just different variations. And they rank them by popularity. So they rank them by what they know is likely to be an email, if that makes sense. So they'll once they've got the format and they've got the domain, they've got the name, and they can start playing around with it. The process is very, very simple. So they check if it's valid. If it is valid, the process stops. If it isn't valid, it goes on to the next format, and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on. Obviously, there's a limit, but once they hit the limit, then the email is just invalid. It can't be found. Now, what's interesting is these products. You can actually build it yourself inside Clay, and it's using the exact same mechanisms, the exact same processes. So we use the name, the domain, and we create different email formats. So as you can see here, we have we have a few different formats, right? And by no means has this been optimized. So it hasn't been optimized for like the cost, or even for actually finding the email. I just put this together very, very quickly, just because I want to test it. I wanted to play around with it. But what we're doing inside Clay, we're just creating a formula. And we're basically telling that formula to put the first name, the last name, and the domain into a specific format so we get a variation of each email. So for example, the prompt that I've used is create a formula that takes the first name, last name, company domain, and makes it first.last@domain.com. And I've just given it an example, and it's done it, right? It's the first name, last name.com. Now this data is just random data. I just pulled it out of Clay, and I believe it's outbound companies and just the CEOs. But what's interesting is I've made all the different variations, and then I've ran this against. Well, I've ran the validation with Million Verifier, and I've also ran it with a conditional formula. So, for example, similar to what I explained on the process map, is this email valid? If no, continue. If yes, you stop. The exact same thing is happening here. So we started with the most popular one, which is just the first name. Is it okay? Yep. Stop. If it's invalid, we check. So this one is invalid. We checked. We got an okay. And similarly for this one, we got invalid. We checked. We got okay, and so on and so on and so on. Now the idea is, and sorry. One thing that is going to happen is you're going to get catch-alls. Now, I haven't actually created a flow for the catch-alls. I've just focused on if it's okay or invalid. But to get more out of your list, naturally, you're going to run some catch-alls. You could do it at the end or run it in between each flow. And obviously, that's going to increase your output. But for this example, all I've done is just okay or invalid, and that's it. Now, from that, like I said, I put this together and scrapped it together very, very fast. Not much effort is put in. And I've managed to find, out of 100 rows, 46 emails. So that's 46% currently. Now, if I were to spend a few more hours and I was going to optimize it and find and really rank and figure out which emails I should be putting into this flow and not all email formats, I'm sure I could get this 60, 70% and so on. But it's just great, right? Because inside Clay, you can build your own email finder tool for free. You can build it for free. You're going to need various APIs and validation tools. But in essence, instead of spending what we got here, for example, if you're a large business, instead of spending $249 or $259 for 30K credits, or for 15K email validation, verifications, which is just tiny. You can sign up to Million Verifier, spend $259, get 500 credits, and build your own kind of finder email tool yourself internally that has infinite scale that you're in control of, and so on and so on and so on. That's it. That's it from me. That's all I wanted to share. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. I also have a newsletter in my bio. Please subscribe if you want more kind of hacks on how to use Clay, how to grow your company using cold outbound, sales automation. Apart from that, love you lots. Have a good day.